Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will start in some 2-3 minutes and beginning the ice breaking and team building before the event. Small exercise just from the last rows. Please come in front. I'm asking you by heart, please. And you too, please, people. Very nice group. You look very consolidated. You can be consolidated here in front, please. Just for the info, the first lines are most expensive, so take a chance. Well then, good afternoon one more time, ladies and gentlemen. We are here now in the Latviyan University, and thank you for the hosting this event here. And the elections of President of the United States of America is not far away, not in timeline and in terms of geography also. It's influencing us. So we are happy to have here a presidential mock debate with a wonderful panel of experts and we hope also wonderful participants of debate, which will represent Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Debate like official one, where everything is very serious, and it means teams will debate on very serious issues, foreign policy, economics, and social issues. The structure is simple. Every team will have chance to do the opening remark for 2 minutes. Then will be the question answers time. Each team will have a possibility to answer 2 minutes, then rebuttal 1 minute, and then the second team 2 minutes and rebuttal. Questions will come from the panel of experts and from the audience. Nevertheless, we are watching in the online, in the Latviyan University homepage. I believe these are hundreds of people. And at the same time, the questions are coming in the Facebook and the Twitter too. My name is Martin. I will be the moderator and the timekeeper. I have watch. And 2 minutes, that's everything in the red lines. So if somebody will go over the 2 minutes, we will just switch the mic off. Something like this. Okay, everything from one side is really serious, from other side it's nice family event. So feel free, breathe, because if you will not breathe, you can lose your lose your senses. Okay, and well, let's start with really nice and introduction with the expert panelists. And today in our expert panel, we have political expert Ivars Ieps. Let's give us small applause. And his name is telling more than his status. Everyone knows Ivars Ieps. Of course, we have a member of Latvian Parliament, Lolita Čigāne. Applause. His Excellence Ambassador, Mr. Marks Pekala, please, applause. And two mass media representatives, the gatekeepers, watchdogs of society, from the Latvijas Avīze, Girts Vikmanis, and from the Telegraph, Andrejs Hotejevs. And of course, I'm like a moderator. I'm just watching you people from the side, but real opening remarks is from His Excellence Ambassador Marks Pekala. Please, the floor is yours, Ambassador.
Thanks, Martin. Labdien, labas dienas, tere pēvast. It's a real pleasure to be here. Many thanks to the University of Latvia for hosting this event, and thanks to the two teams who have worked very hard and studied very hard to learn about the policies and the positions of Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Hats off to you. It's hard work, and we're looking forward to a very interesting debate, a fair debate, but a good fight. where the two teams will have different views on the issues. The presidential debates in the United States, you know, are an important thing. We just finished the third of 3 debates on Monday night. About 60 million people watched each of those debates, and that's only 60 million people in the United States, actually. Many, many more millions watched the debates around the world. Not everybody gets to vote. Only Americans get to vote in the election. But it will be fun to see the issues discussed. Debate is a very important part of our political process. People's minds are changed during the debates. People's vote does depend in certain circumstances on the debate, so that's very important. In our culture, debate in schools is very important. There are debate clubs, there are debate societies, there are debate organizations in elementary school, in high school, in college, and beyond. And it's, I think, a proven fact that people who do well in debate societies in school do well later in life, because after all, life is about convincing people about what you think and about taking a good idea and making it stronger and making it stick. So we congratulate you. We look forward to a really wonderful debate. I know that my fellow panelists have hard questions prepared. It's a real honor for me to be among such professionals. I feel like the amateur here in the panel and in the debate. So I'm looking forward to a good one, and we leave it in your hands, Martin. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. We are in the online at a particular moment, and I believe the questions are coming in. But about the rules are very important. Which one from you will start first? It will be decided by help of the coin. So which one of you choose the emblem? Okay, the emblem, and for you, the number. We have on one side fish in Latvian, and on the other side the emblem. No. Well, okay, the emblem. Congratulations, guys. And the rules are simple. While our representatives of Mitt Romney or Barack Obama speaking, we are quiet and very focused. So no open support like cheers, boo, and things like that are here in this audience, except with one short exception, just to raise up the feeling with some open applause, 2 minutes, opening remarks, you, and afterwards the Barack Obama team. Start applause, please.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy and proud to be here, and we are extremely thankful for the opportunity to be engaged in this sort of event. We truly believe that the politics of the United States is very important for the rest of the world, and it is something that influences all the people in the entire world every day. So today we are standing on the side of American values, and we would like to see the glorious future for the upcoming generations, and we do believe that everyone should have equal chances when they come to life, and we try to promote every single individual to have the best possible life they could have. So the 3 main parts of today's debate and what we stand for are foreign policy, economics, and values. In foreign policies, we mostly are trying to show how we care about the safety of the United States, how we are trying to defend our trade partners and our allies, for example, Israel. And we also are trying to ensure a strong diplomatic, military, and cooperational influence in the world in order to spread the ideas of democracy, free trade, human rights we believe to be extremely important, and economic prosperity and opportunities. In economics, we believe that decreasing taxes will definitely help small businesses, which is the core values and the core people of our whole society. And we also would like to decrease the budget deficit so that the future generations, the children, wouldn't be suffering and paying the debts that we have caused them. And when it comes to values, we still believe that good education is what drives the economy and the whole society forward, and we believe that everyone should have the same chances. We also believe that we should still remain on the good old moral values upon which the United States was once built, and we strongly believe into women's rights and family values. So therefore, we are more than proud to stand on the Republican side and answer all your possible questions. We are very happy to be here, and we hope to see a lovely debate with the opposing side. So therefore, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. It was Mitt Romney, in real life, the Stockholm School of Economics Debate Club. Please, your 2 minutes, representatives of Barack Obama.
Of course, also from our side, thank you to the university for hosting this. Thank you panel, and thank you for everyone who appeared. Barack Obama is actually a candidate who truly embodies the American dream. He really his story is really one of rags to riches, unlike our distinguished opponents. Barack Obama spent his childhood in a house which had one room and one window. And now, well, he has been a very good president for the previous 4 years and will be for the next 4 years. He has always supported the American middle class, which has been extraordinarily important for the American economy. He developed 31. He permitted us to have 31 months of consecutive job growth. He provided equal rules for everybody, and hasn't allowed corporations to rule as much as they did previously. On diplomacy, he has always been ready for a dialogue, not aggressive, and also supports equality of sexes. Now, we, unlike our, again, opponent, have a very good record to stand on. We will be happy to show you the next 4 years that we can make it even better. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Barack Obama. Really in time, 1 minute, and in the real life debate club of Latvian University. Now we are switching on the questions directly. The 3 questions on every issue will come from the panel, and 1 question from our audience. And our first issue is questions on foreign policy. So please, our experts, the first question from your side. On every question, both of the parties will answer. So we can hear you, I believe.
My question will be as follows. The both parties are speaking about the foreign policy, and Mitt Romney are speaking about China and his role, and how the Mitt Romney will diminish China's influence in the U.S. economy. And Democrats are speaking more. In the last debate, there were talks about Syria, about Pakistan, about Middle East. What concerns are foreign affairs in the meaning of Americans. But I would like to ask, how about the Europe? What are the policy of Republicans and Democrats towards Europe, and how they see alliance between the United States and Europe when the Romney will take office or Obama will stay? Can you explain me, please?
Thank you for the question. The United States and Europe. So the Romney's team is coming first 2 minutes, and then rebuttal, and then 2 minutes from Obama's team, and then rebuttal. Please, United States and Europe. Do not advertise the iPhone.
I'm not advertising, just giving my time. All right, thank you for the question. The question is wonderful, and it's indeed very important, because what we find is that many years behind, and many times it is undervalued how important the relationships between big states actually affect the states in between. And that is exactly, for myself, a very important question as well, personally, because I'm Latvian, I come from a very small country. We just interlap between the pretty much power struggle between West and East, namely Russia, and the Western side, which is dominated by America. And we would like to outline that Romney's plan towards especially the Russian question, is actually concerning two main parts, which we could speak about more clearly. The first part is about this missile defense system and about the possible plans to implement it, whether in the form in which proposed by the previous President Bush, or in the form that it will be implemented in the modern version, whether that was proposed by President Barack Obama. And we would say that this depends on concessions from the Russian side, because we don't like the situation that we have openly gone towards cooperation with Russia, just as in North Korea, not receiving back what we actually wanted. In North Korea's case, they launched one of their missiles a few weeks after we gave them food aid. And in Russia's case, we had a START agreement about reducing the amount of nuclear weapons. But what this agreement actually in reality meant is that Russia could actually increase its nuclear weapon armament when we had to decrease it, and they actually did increase it. So we'll all be dependent on the mutual relationships between us and Russia. And an important point on this is not only the missile defense system, which will benefit the security of the region as a whole, but also about the energy independence, which is very important, about diminishing Russia's role as pretty much this energy supplier monopoly, which can threaten and use its energy power to actually impose their own conditions upon countries which would be neither democratic nor aimed towards prosperity. These are the main points outlining Europe that we could sketch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And 1 minute rebuttal, and then 2 minutes, so altogether 3 minutes from Barack Obama team, Latvian University Debate Club, please.
Hello. I'd like to start my rebuttal with small 2 points about how does Romney politics with Europe works in practice right now. As you remember, Romney was the one who criticized London, United Kingdom, our closest ally in Europe, about how they organize Olympic Games. He just showed his level of diplomacy with our cooperation partner as Europe. The second point is about Russia. Romney called Russia our first geopolitical enemy, but also I'd like to make a remark that Vladimir Putin was the first politician who called Bush after the 9/11 to say that he's sorry about, and he's ready to help in fight with the terrorists. And also with Russia, it's really important to keep this relationship really close and good, as was showed with Russia helping us and giving opportunity to use the territory to go on and into Afghanistan. So this is really good geopolitical friend, and we have to use it, not just say that it's the first and the big geopolitical enemy. That's it about my rebuttal. I think it was 1 minute. And now my 2 minutes about our political issues on Europe. Barack Obama thinks that Europe is one of our closest and best friends. We have to keep this relationship good, and we are sure, and we are making we are offering our ideas to how Europe have to go through a Euro crisis. And we are also working cooperation with Europe by making some cooperation in Middle East conflicts. We are making our decisions together about how we should work in problems of peace in Middle East. And we are suggesting that we have to cooperate with Europe. We have to keep this relationship really close. Of course, this is not the main issue in this kind of time and this moment, but we are keeping our relationship close. And Barack Obama thinks that and agrees that America should cooperate with Europe, not just make a leading part. We should not make our decisions alone, but cooperate with these countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And 1 minute rebuttal from Mitt Romney.
So the rebuttal will be duly short. First of all, saying that from the Obama side, that Europe is our closest and bestest friend, and we're offering them our ideas to help them get through crisis. Well, it's nice. All these words are very nice, just like economic cooperation, and the Barack Obama should cooperate in economic terms, especially regarding trade, but we actually heard no extreme examples when actually America has directly intervened in the European affairs, especially regarding the financial crisis which we have right now and economic crisis which resulted in that. We also did not hear about any of these this great facilitation of economic cooperation. We can speak about marginal deals as the Afghanistan cargo going through Latvia, for instance. We did not see any large-scale deals. And also about this Middle Eastern conflict, we helped solve that. Well, it's actually the alliance with the American administration, American government, which brought us into the Middle Eastern conflict. It could be kind of double-edged to say now we are helping you solve the conflict because we went in there as part of NATO. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are moving to next question from our experts, please. Can you pass the mic?
I'm just wondering what kind of opinion both candidates have on getting out of Afghanistan. I think that most of us will agree on the issue that this is a rather problematic point of American foreign policy right now.
Well, really, thank you. What's your plan for moving forward in Afghanistan, please, Romney's team? Romney's team, please.
Thank you. Afghanistan indeed is a very serious issue and also a very important issue coming up, seeing as the double-sided effect of the peacekeeping mission in Afghanistan. What we would like to say is that the Obama administration has made some critical flaws in understanding the real situation. We do not want this war against terror to be prolonged. Everybody, both us and the Obama administration, we believe, can agree this war must come to an end as sooner as possible. But this war may only come to an end when we win the war. And when we win the war, it's not as destroying a country. It's not a country we're fighting. It's a guerrilla war. And this war requires endurance. And this war also requires tactics and sustained position on the matters. And what we would say is that it's not a sustained position to try to solve the problems in one of the biggest regions of insurgency and religious fundamentalism, and then afterwards say that you're going to pull out, just when things are actually, you might be starting to cooperate with the Pakistani and the Afghani officials. We say that we have to foster such things as education, of course, and aversion of corruption in these cases. But the main thing we have to do, we must hear out our military advisors more than the Obama administration has done. Because when Obama introduced these 30,000 surge troops and then pulled them out in September, prior to the elections, by the way, guys, then the idea was that these surge troops were advised to stay in Afghanistan because that was the height of the Afghani fighting Taliban this season when they attacked most ardently. What we say, we have to make a clear stand on that we're going to stay there until the insurgency is going to end, at least in a strong diplomatic way, and that we do not want to let go and not build on the success that we've had so far. We want to make sure that the Pakistanis and Afghanis, their governments cooperate with us completely because we have large leverage in their governments. We do not want this to become Charlie Wilson's war, where we spend $500 million in order to win the war against Soviet Russia and then do not donate a couple of $1 million to build the schools there so they could remember who won. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 1 minute rebuttal, and then your statement for 2 minutes. Latvian University Debate Club. Latvian University Debate Club.
My rebuttal will consist more like my 2 minutes, but I will speak further. We are not just leaving Afghanistan as it is. Our first aim is to create a government which is able to think, which is able to make decisions by themselves, and which is able to make these decisions good. We are not leaving the Afghanistan without bridges, schools. We are building this infrastructure just to create the country as good as it is possible in our aims. And So our plan is not to leave the base there, some military bases. We want to create a country which was once lost. And I think this is the best way to do it, is not the military sanctions more, but just to do some diplomatic talks, to do it more, and to just be close to our aims and our decisions what we made before. And now to my 2 minutes. Afghanistan is indeed one of the most important points in this debate and in this election. And Obama made this decision to leave Afghanistan after this long war, after making this country miserable, and after creating it from the beginning. We are using all our power, and we have to the end. We have to end this war in a responsible way. We have to leave what we can do. We have to leave it with schools, with bridges, with buildings, with new infrastructure. And we have to create and be sure that the country and government which is left there is absolutely sure about making decisions very well. And I think we got I think we were fighting for, I think we have fought what we are fighting for. We found the good way how to end the war, and we have to do it responsible ways at the same time as we did with Iraq. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and rebuttal.
Yes, a bit of rebuttal on that point. You're saying these beautiful things like we need to create a government, promote infrastructure, education, and all these things. We would also add a lot of other points to this, like fighting the narcotics trade, making sure that the Pakistani and Afghan border is a safe place by cooperation and all that. But how do you exactly plan to achieve that when you've been reducing support for pretty much the war that is going on in this region? We would say that if the military advisors actually all agree, not all of them agree, but the main military advisors and the main military generals in the region actually say that we should fight and we should, like David Petraeus, that we should stay in the region, because right now we have to build on our success, and we will not be able to, the government will not be able to support itself if we pull out right now. What sense is it to just impose all these infrastructural changes if after we leave, without leaving enough residual troops and enough influence of our own attaining in the region in the sense of Pakistan and Afghanistan government officials, if we don't have the influence, if we don't have the military residual troops, all that we've been working on, all these maybe minor successes, but successes nonetheless, will be lost. We believe that, therefore we say, Wolf Romney.
Well, really, it's cold outside, but really hot here inside and coming. The next question, question number 3 from our experts, please.
Geertz mentioned that we've heard already in debates about China and the Middle East. We heard today about Europe. We heard about Afghanistan and South Asia. I'd like to ask about a foreign policy question that's a lot closer to home, an area that presents some of our greatest challenges and some of our greatest opportunities, and that's Mexico. I'd like to know what you would do and what you would do differently from your opponent in terms of security and economics. What can make the American people more secure and more prosperous by the development of the relationship with Mexico? What would you do specifically, and how soon would you do it with Mexico?
Thank you, Ambassador. Mitt Romney, please.
Yes, we would like to start off with pointing out what we find is the main problem in the so far Obama attitude, President Obama attitude towards the Latin American question. Well, we've actually seen that you've neglected our allies in the region and reached out and supported the people who are actually former enemies and, in a sense, negative and not likewise thinking to the American state. For instance, this idea that in the Cuban, just slightly sketching it, in the case of Cuba, we released some of our sanctions towards them and received nothing in return. Now, you might say this is a gesture of goodwill, but not when the people of Cuba are actually suffering from the dictatorship of Castro, and we could have attained some sort of positive changes in this sense and exerted some kind of democratic reform for civil rights. But the main things we plan to do regarding the region is actually to promote trade, cooperation, and to do it from our existing already ally states, pretty much as Panama, Guatemala, Chile, And we will actually launch a program called CIOLA, Campaign for Economic Opportunity in Latin America, to further support and consolidate the values of free trade, which will lead, we believe, to more economic opportunity, which will lead to a better prosperity of life, an overall increase in welfare, and democratization of the country, which we will also support from our diplomatic side, of course. And we will also establish a hemispheric joint task force on crime and terrorism, which will contribute to hunting down these cross-border both drug cartels and also these terrorist organizations which are operating from the region. There have been some notions of Hezbollah and Venezuela, but as far-fetched as these notions might possibly be, the fact is that this region does present a threat to ourselves, and we believe that by providing more military training, for instance, in cooperation with Mexico, more intelligence sharing, we can repeat the successful tactics we employed in Colombia, and therefore it should be applied. And of course, improving the border, which is a very important question also in the social sense and in the economic sense, more touched upon by my team members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 1 minute rebuttal and your statement for 2 minutes.
So there are some things that were said by the Team Romney that we actually agree upon, but after all, we heard useful things about Panama, Cuba, and Venezuela, but the question was, after all, only about Mexico. And the only offense we heard on our side was about Cuba. Well, that is exactly as the opponent said. This is a gesture of goodwill, because after all, as we have seen, holding these sanctions upon Cuba for ages hasn't worked and hasn't helped this country in any way, and therefore we see that there has to be a change of attitude, a change of way, a change of method how to deal with Cuba. But what concerns Mexico, Republicans are talking about this improving the border, and we all know what this means. It means building a fence on our southwestern border to stop illegal immigrants from coming in, and that is what we are opposed against, because we think that building a fence against Mexican people is kind of offensive, and putting them in a state of some kind of animals that we must defend ourselves from. What we offer is a different kind of solution, and supporting willingness of Mexican people to arrive in U.S. legally if they really want to live and work here. So, as to my own 2 minutes, so if we're talking about Mexico, there are two main issues that have to be separated. One is about the human trafficking and drug trafficking and all these ugly things, and the other is about innocent people who just are seeking for better lives and come here as illegal immigrants. Democratic Party has always been completely willing to put the toughest measures on the drug trafficking and human trafficking, and Obama administration has actually reduced these crimes, and therefore we believe that we should continue on our policies as they have been. As to the illegal immigration, we appreciate that people from Mexico and other Latin American countries are seeing U.S. as a desirable place to live, and we have always been proud that our nation is multicultural, and we think the cultural differences that immigrants from other countries provide enrich our nation, and that is in all a good thing. But we see that each case of illegal immigration should be valued differently, and we should investigate the aims, why a person has come here and whether he has done it illegally or illegally. We should investigate whether the whole family has come, and whether the aim is just to get a work or education here. And what we should do, we should educate and encourage people in the ways to do this legally. And as we know, during the 4 years of Obama administration, there have been several great cases of of providing the green card for illegal immigrants who have shown their loyalty and their respect to United States and its law. And there also have been increased acts of deportation of people who haven't shown this attitude. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. For the future, the time discipline, remember this. And 1 minute rebuttal to the statement.
As we start off by this human trafficking, drug trafficking idea, and well, okay, we somewhat agree on that point, so we won't rebut it too much. But more about the illegal immigrants, which I think is the main issue when concerning Mexico still. And we would say that we are not against immigration, in no way, completely. We are against illegal immigration. And we believe that this kind of attitude towards illegal immigration is something completely okay, this is something completely acceptable, it's completely normal, is the fact why immigration cannot shift towards more legal ways of it, not more, but they're just legal and illegal, to legal ways of immigration, which would be very beneficial for the country. Because the country does benefit from immigration, it does, but it benefits from high-skilled immigration. Immigration that actually benefits the economy greatly, not just marginally by these kind of jobs, which actually do not have so much qualification necessities to apply for, to require for them. And we'd also like to mention out one discrepancy in what you said about this fence. You're not for a fence, but Obama started to build a fence. He just didn't finish it, but we're going to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now time for the audience. Question from the audience. Just raise your hand up, but the first one will get the prize, the mic. So please, the questions from the audience. Not all together, just one by one. Yeah, don't be shy. Yeah, wonderful. Please hear the mic in the front line.
Thank you. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this question, but my question concerns the influence by the American government of the internal situation in Russia. I'm talking about the Magnitsky Bill. I hope you're familiar with it. What is your attitude towards that kind of bills that impose sanctions on officials in Russia who violate human rights? And don't you think that this might worsen the relationship with Russia?
Thank you very much. So please, the Romney team, relations with Russia, human rights questions in larger picture, please. 2 minutes.
Sadly, I must note down that I am not familiar with this exact instance, but we do believe in the case of Russia and regarding sanctions, these sanctions must be linked to how much cooperation we have with them. We must provide a situation where Russia's destabilizing power in its own region and in the world as such is limited, and therefore Russians find it more beneficial to actually cooperate with us than go against us. We always will try to seek this attitude that, for instance, we are willing to cooperate with you, but we must in the same time exert a very, very open and clear opinion that we will support opposition and the civil society in Russia, which is one of the main points also about Romney's foreign plan regarding foreign politics in Russia. It's the idea that we want to, in the same time when we have cooperation, we want to also confront Putin's government about the authoritarian practices that he has been assuming, and we want to question and support opposition groups regarding free elections and free speech, and also the reduction of corruption, which is more an internal affair, but regarding political processes it also influences that quite to a great deal. And we would like to also notice this USAID organization that was banned from Russia, that such situation, it was previously actually supporting the oppositionary movement more indirectly, and also from the point of view of the government of Russia, but we would also like to continue some sort of support for pretty much an opposition movement that believes in the values that we believe in, such as free trade and democratic values. And we believe we've been achieving that the way to go is not just to go to diplomatic discussions without any preconditions, and to accept, as it was in the START deal, that afterwards we find ourselves losing and Russia actually has more capacity to gain nuclear armaments. But we find that this must always be in a position where we are ready to cooperate, we're ready for open talks, but in the same time we assume the strict position that we are, and were supporting the human rights and democratic movement in Russia.
Thank you very much. Please, 1 minute rebuttal and your statement on Russia.
Well, this is pretty much what is the biggest flaw in whole pre-election debates of the Republican Party nominees, that they are never really telling what are their exact intentions, and they're quite often shifting the opinion. Talking about Russia as a strategic partner with whom it is important to cooperate is not really, in our opinion, going together with Romney's naming Russia the first geopolitical enemy, and therefore we see the position of Mitt Romney and the Republican Party as pretty inconsequent. But what regards to what was just said, we think that this might be one thing on which both sides could agree upon. I'm now switching already to my 2 minutes. Yes, we understand Russia as a very important power in today's world, and it is real strategic economic relationships with Russia is important. It is important to carry them out in the right way. But we also want to know that as one of the chief defenders of democracy in today's world, America is not going to suffer to see human rights severely violated, and therefore we believe that the U.S. official attitude against Magnitsky case was right, and we support it, because in this case we believe that the government and the judicial system of Russia was mistaken. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the question from the audience. You won the coin from the beginning when we were making which team will start. That coin is yours. Applause. Thank you. That's for additional motivation for the audience on the next issue. But still, closing this issue panel, some short comments from our experts about the issue and maybe about the quality of debates so far. Please just start from mass media side, maybe.
First of all, I would say that the ideas that both teams said today were very, very close to those that two candidates, real candidates, say every day from TV sets and radio. And I would like that they continue like that on economy and social thing as well.
Thank you. And that's a tricky one.
In my opinion, I really really excited about the both teams. I can agree on my colleague, and yes, when we evaluate how the debate on foreign policy is going on, I can say I see more strength in now in the Romney's side. Maybe this debate, maybe Romney this Latvian Romney is more charismatic than Barack Obama, as he plays like Barack Obama actually. And the issues that I wanted to know is the both sides have spoken about Cuba, and but the ambassador's question was more about the Mexico. And I have an interest. Do you know that in Mexico now is a new president, and this could influence policy towards towards United States. And as I were in United States, I spoke with some Latina. This is my comment with some Latina, with some guy from Peru, and he said, no, there will be problems with Latin Americans in United States because of the crime and lack of rule of law. They will flow to United States. I didn't hear in this panel about this issue. Okay, maybe I'm too critical, but that's my opinion.
Well, thank you very much. The terminology Latvian Mitt Romney sounds really nice.
Thank you. I think both teams really did very well. The biggest difference between the performance of the two teams was really that Mitt Romney team had a stronger performance, but in my opinion, Obama's team had a much more concise value-based attitude. And that was the biggest difference in terms of how both teams expressed their opinions on different foreign policy issues, where Mitt Romney team was strong in words, comparisons, strong in the manner the argument was presented, but I also really liked how Obama's team motivated their opinions by a broader understanding of the values that the respective party represents. So I think that both teams did extremely well, and I wish you equally successful continuation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that very much. I think both teams are quite good. I'm not very happy about your answers about the US-European relations, because after all, we are still in Europe, but your answers were not very convincing. As for charisma and as for competence, I would say that there is also a kind of match between these two teams, because Romney's side is more charismatic, of course, and more eloquent, and the Obama side is more competent, in my opinion. But that might change also with a follow-up. Thanks.
Well, which one, yes, will win? Please, some comment, Ambassador.
I'm very reluctant to say anything at this point, but I will say I'll say the following. In any debate, the debaters always have the right not to answer the question, and I note that both teams are taking advantage of that right and exercising that right pretty frequently. We only have one person on the panel who has actually run for office and who has actually campaigned for election. So I'd be very interested in hearing your views throughout the rest of the day. But it seems to me at this point, and I know that economics and social issues will come up later and will show other strengths. But I think what I'm seeing at this point now from the Obama side is a more pragmatic and constructive approach with somewhat of some optimism. And what I see from the Romney team is more of an effort to destroy the other side with less of a constructive agenda. I think I'll stop there.
Okay, really, really nice remarks, and well, to think about. And we are going further, the issue economy. Questions on the economy, just to let some fresh air here. We will start now, because all the time one side has these 3 minutes together with the rebuttal. We'll change in this economy issue so Barack Obama team will start this, and then the Mitt Romney team will 1 minute rebuttal and 2 minutes together. And please, the question from the panel, yes, panel of experts. The question on economy.
One of the main goals of the both candidates that is stressed very often is to gain the energy independence of the United States by 2020. How do you achieve that?
Energy independence question. Please, Obama team, the floor is yours. 2 minutes.
Almost tripped my hero. I'm glad to see the panel has noted the typically Republican debating style of our distinguished opponents, namely all charisma and no numbers. I'll be glad to introduce positive change in the debate. Regarding the energy independence policy, well, I would like to have something to comment from their side, but Romney's plans on economics have been so vague and so often flip-flopped, we can actually do no better than fight a fog. Of course, energy independence is important for both sides, and well, we will partly encourage energy independence through championing small business. Now, that's something Mitt Romney has also said he would encourage, but let's look at his record. He suggests a 20% tax cut on absolute everything while increasing spending $5 trillion. Now, arithmetically, that just doesn't add up. Now, he and Paul Ryan have often been encouraged to comment on how exactly they would like to achieve this. But well, the best they can do is simply say, here is the strategic layout, and we will reach a bipartisan agreement. Now, that's not how you should do politics prior to elections. Now, we've probably all seen Obama's nice line during the second debate when he said, when he asked you to imagine yourself in the role of an investor, and said, well, imagine someone comes up to you and says, well, here I have this deal. I'm going to spend $7 or $8 trillion, and where exactly I'm going to get the money? Well, maybe I'll tell you after the election. Now, that's just not the way. That's not a deal you would take. And well, yes, we would encourage energy independence through our tax policy, through championing small business as we have previously, and well, we just don't know what they could do regarding the same question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 1 minute rebuttal and your 2 minutes of statement, Mitt Romney's team.
When Mr. President comes here and says that he's going to change the course of this debate by bringing more numbers into this debate, he doesn't do that. He didn't even bring any number in this debate. What he said was, we are going to somehow encourage energy independence through small businesses and our tax code. We don't think that stands as an argument. They did not provide an explanation, so we are not going to go with further rebuttal on this point. What we want to speak specifically on this issue of energy independence, there are a couple of things we are going to do. Firstly, we are going to eliminate excessive regulations of Mr. President, because they are strangling coal industry, right? The coal industry SEOs explicitly state that all the excessive regulation that Mr. Obama is causing towards them is actually increasing the burden towards the coal industry and making them less competitive within the global arena and within the national borders of the United States. We want to eliminate that excessive regulation. We think that's going to add to the energy independence on our side. What else we want to do? We want to actually encourage exploration and development by various subsidies and by changing our tax code in such a way that it would encourage small businesses, and not necessarily only small businesses, to go and explore and develop alternative energy sources. Thirdly, we think that Latin America and United States and North America as such is a very resource-rich country. We want to encourage the exploration, we want to encourage development so that businesses can go and have an access towards those resources. What else we want to say, that we are going to encourage and invest more towards the shale oil, right? Because we think that it's extremely important issue, an important point, how we can actually go there and achieve our energy independence, right? So they did not say anything. We provided you clear reasons what exactly we want to do to increase energy independence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, please. And, well, yeah, your rebuttal.
My rebuttal will consist of 2 points about what the Republican Party doesn't think about. It's that energy independence is a long-term decision. They're looking just really shortly. They're not thinking about alternative energy, which is actually the future. We think that alternative energy, like double fuel efficiency for cars, it will save this energy. This will give this independence in future. Secondly, we think that If we are making our production more efficient, we will lower the need for this energy, which was also actually in the long term give us this independence. But what is the plan for Romney? I actually don't see any plan. Just to give decision to oil companies, to give them right to write the policy with no governmental influence in this term, which is really important. So we think that we should, in this case, we should think in long term and think about alternative energy, what Republican Party doesn't do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we are going to the next question from the panel of experts on economy.
Yes, I have a question about the tax cuts. There are some tax cuts that are about to expire by the end of this year. If elected, what is your stance? Will you extend them? Will you introduce new tax cuts? And what will be your proposals? Whom to tax? Thank you.
Well, the tax questions. Thank you very much. Please, Obama's team.
Now, there are some tax cuts that are about to expire. Those are the tax cuts for the very rich. Now, unlike our opponent, we won't be giving benefits to the rich anymore. We will let those tax cuts expire, and we will actually increase tax for the rich. Now, we will decrease tax for middle-class families that will allow the average household in America to save $3,600 per year. Now, that's one of the ways we would support the American middle class. One comment Romney made in the second presidential debate, saying that the top 5% pay 60% of the federal income tax. Now, this is a very important point that shows why he's in support of the very rich. Now, the federal income tax isn't actually the only tax. There's still the state tax and the payroll tax. When you put in all the income that the top 5% make, you get around 35.3%. Sorry, you get around 35.3%. Now, the taxes they have paid are about 37.1%. Now, if you are very rich in the progressive tax system, now you shouldn't pay. The proportion of your paid taxes should not be about the same of the income you receive. Now, the reason why Romney said that the rich are paying 60% of the federal tax is because he wants the people to think that the rich actually are paying more than the average person, although actually they are not. So our tax policy will be, we will save $3,600 to the average American household and increase taxes on the rich, which is something Bill Clinton did, and it worked very well.
Thank you. Really good time manage. Please, 1 minute plus 2 minutes.
Thank you. What we want to do with our tax code, we want to decrease taxes dramatically for everybody. We think that it is important for very obvious reasons. And what Mr. President wants to do, he wants to increase taxes for the rich. Why exactly I want to decrease taxes for the rich is not because I'm an immoral person, but because I want rich people to go and create jobs for everybody, right? When you have 35% corporate income tax in the United States, is excessive. It's enormous. It's one of the hugest corporate income taxes around the world. It decreases our businesses' competition in the global arena. It increases prices that consumers want to pay, right? And that's the reason why we want to decrease taxes so that all the America benefits, we generate jobs, and every citizen of America can benefit from that. Going to my constructive material, when Mr. President talks about decreasing taxes for middle class, he does not go far enough, right? We want to go further. We want to decrease taxes for everybody, and for individuals, and for corporations. Why we want to do that? Firstly, we think that there exists excessive taxation for the individuals, and there are 44% of all the jobs created within the United States borders are created by small businesses. And those small businesses pay taxes that are individual taxes. That's the reason why we want to decrease those taxes for individuals so that small businesses can function better. right? We think that reducing corporate taxation, it also increases competition in the world economy. We think that it increases, encourages businesses to encourage people to go and create small businesses. It encourages investment, and subsequently, it leads to more growth and more jobs within the United States borders, right? We think that smaller taxes actually stimulates entrepreneurship, job creation, and investment. It adds certainty within United States economy, because currently a lot of CEOs of various companies were excessively talking about uncertainty with the tax code of United States. Nobody knows what it's gonna be, and Mr. President does not provide any clear reasons, any clear guidances where that particular tax code is gonna go. We give you clear reasons. We create certainty within our national borders. We create certainty and business environment where businesses can go and create jobs, that can create investment, that can spur growth. Mr. President does not do that. We do that. Vote Romney.
Well, thank you very much. Please protect yourself. 1 minute. Obama's team.
Where will the money come from? The taxes, the huge tax cuts that they are proposing can simply not be paid for by the tax policies they are proposing. You leave us with just two options: either increase tax on the average American household or explode the deficit. Neither of which is a very good option. And we have tried trickle-down economics, or trickle-down government, as it is called recently by the Republican Party. Now, it just has never worked. I see completely no reason to think why it should work this time. Vote Obama.
Thank you very much. Well, yes, please, the question from the panel.
Yes, in the last section I mentioned China. The US, when you want to grow the economy, you must think about the trade, not only about the cutting taxes and doing business. And you must think about the trade with other nations. And I want to know how do both sides look at the exports and interdependency with China. Because a large amount of US investment are in this country, and also there's one cultural aspect. Chinese also are, many Chinese are obtaining in the American universities. So my question is, how you will deal with China and its economy, because China becomes greater and greater, and also in the trade surpluses there is a large amount of China in the US mutual trade. Then, okay, you understand.
Thank you, thank you. The question on the China, please. Each time you're doing that, it's so funny.
Now, we actually, there is one point of agreement, there might be one point of agreement here that we should get a little tough on China, because they have been cheating with keeping their currency very low. Now, Mitt Romney has proposed doing that, but he has also invested in Chinese companies that support spying equipment for the Chinese government to spy on China's own people. Now, Mitt Romney is the very last person to get off on China, even though that is what we should be doing. Now, we actually will do that, and we will prevent China from cheating, reestablish our influence in the global economy and on the global political stage, and well, do trade with them as it has been usually done. China does the saving, we do the spending.
Thank you. Really great. Thanks. 1 minute rebuttal. And 2 minutes your statement.
Again, what Mr. President said was not an argument, it was a personal attack on me. We don't think that should stand as an argument in this particular debate. They said that I'm not the person to deal with that problem. But I explicitly stated in many interviews and in many debates that we need to deal with the China. We need to deal with the China's cheating, and I explained what ways we are going to do that. We think that Mr. President was not harsh enough. We think that China steals steals jobs from United States citizens, when China cheats by manipulating its currency, then when China's policies leads to us having more debt, Mr. President stood there and did nothing. We want to do following things. Firstly, we want to encourage regulation in illegal goods. We think there are quite many goods that come from China illegally. We want to make various regulations and various changes within our policy that encourage to deal with illegal goods. We also think that we need to encourage the litigation process within the United States borders because of various unfair China's practices. Right? What we also want to do, we want to punish China whenever it violates rules, whenever it manipulates its currency, whenever it steals jobs from the United States. We want to go there and say that they're doing a bad thing. Mr. President was very soft on this. He did not even explicitly state that China is doing a bad thing. He did nothing and stood there aside when China were doing bad things. What we also want to do, we want to create Reagan economic zone, right? Because it would provide you with an opportunity to to provide a counteraction to every time China cheats. We want to create a Reagan economic zone where like-minded business entrepreneurship encouraging countries unite and trade with each other without tariffs and without many restrictions. We want to create the situation that China would have no opportunity but to deal with us in the most honest and not in a way of cheating. We think that creating a Reagan economic zone, not only within the United States, not only within the region of North America, but also expanding our economic Reagan zone to Asia, near China, would encourage China to actually not cheat and to go with all the important and honest policies and to deal with the United States in the most honest way. That's the reason. That's exactly what we want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Quite aggressive. Please, 1 minute.
Whenever you see your opponent get aggressive, it means you're getting somewhere. Now, they convict us of not being tough enough on China. Well, we are Democrats. We use diplomacy, and if necessary, we use other means, but we start with this diplomacy. Now, by the way, he said something like we have explicitly stated in many interviews that we will get tough on China. Now, there are quite a few things he has explicitly said in many interviews and flip-flopped more often than the weather. For example, his 47% comment. Now, he said it on day 1. Comes September 17, he reinforces it. September 18, reinforces it again. September 19, my plan is about 100% of Americans. Now, that's simply flip-flopping, and just because he says something in an interview doesn't mean it's true. The written word of his plan is still vague enough so he can flip on both sides. Now, Reaganomics worked once. It was rather a free case due to many special conditions. Trickle-down economics has never really worked in the normal economy. Vote Obama.
Thank you very much. And we are slightly going closer to the social issues, and I will allow myself just to switch on the social issues. On the first issue pattern, so Mitt Romney is answering first on the question on the social issues, but the question from the panelists on the social issues, the question from the panel of experts, please.
To both teams again, and I would ask a question about same-sex couples. Should they have the same civil guarantees as heterosexual couples? What is your opinion?
Thank you. Please, Mitt Romney's team.
So, thank you very much for the question. When we speak about same-sex couples, then apparently the biggest issue is the legalization of marriage or not. We believe that every individual is of course entitled to medical care and other benefits, what we can afford them. But when it comes to same-sex couples and marriages and all, and all kinds of benefits that come with marriage, then we believe that we should stand on the grounds on which actually the society is built upon, and we believe that a family is what the society is built upon. We have also even stated it in our laws, saying that marriage is between a man and a woman. We believe that the aim of a marriage is to actually have children and to continue the society as itself and to offer something beneficial. What we see, on the other hand, in same-sex couples is that we will not reach offsprings in this sort of way. Even though same-sex couples might be very lovely people, but then we don't believe that they should have the same rights when it comes to married couples. And we do not believe that the majority of society would actually include them and find it acceptable, as we are still a rather traditional society. We still would like to stand on the same ideas as we have been before, and we are for the idea of a man and a woman being together. So we do think that same-sex couples as an individual should have the same medical benefits, but we do not believe that they should have the right to get married. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 1 minute rebuttal, and your 2 minutes.
I don't want to sound really radical, but constitutions are not sacred, and they need to follow the spirits of the particular age. And if our constitution has aged, as it really has in this particular question, then it has to be changed. Because US has always seen itself and declared itself as like the main defender of democratic values on the world's map. But what we see now is that for reasons like this one, US is actually far behind some European countries such as UK and Netherlands that are much freer in social issues than we are. And we believe in Democratic Party that this should change. So now I'm moving on to my 2 minutes. So the only thing Republicans always do is, the only argument they have is calling our constitution sacred and some kind of obvious truths enshrined in this constitution, but we believe the constitution was written like 300 years ago by people who had different views than we do. And the Republican Party has never showed any arguments why same-sex couples are in any way worse than traditional couples, apart from referencing to arguments that are of religious nature. And we believe that we should stick to secular values when thinking about our legislation. And there is no way why people should be discriminated because of their sexual orientation. And we believe that the right to marriage is a very basic right, and people should have to have the right to officially tie themselves with the person they love despite of their gender. And I would like to inform the side Romney that also homosexual couples can have offsprings when it comes to lesbian couples, and the couples of both sexes can still adopt children. So they can also be families who raise children in this sense. And homosexual peoples have existed as long as have existed the humanity, but they have been oppressed in all ages. And we believe that finally America should join the company of those liberal countries that have finally recognized that the people who have homosexual orientation are in no way worse than heterosexual people are. And that's why the side Obama stands strongly on the equal status of the same-sex marriage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, 1 minute rebuttal.
Thank you for the Democratic Party for their ideas. Well, yes, we do stand on the ideas of the Constitution, because this is where our ideas come from. And what we say is that even though Constitution might be old and it might be a bit, yes, written written 300 years ago, then we also believe that this is what our nation is based upon, and we believe that the country should be serving our people, and if the constitution is what the majority of people believe in and what they think, then we don't think that we should be the ones who are entitled to go and change what the people think. So therefore, as we believe that well, it is a small mistake of the democracy, but it's still the best thing we have, then always the majority prevails. And in this case, we believe that we should stand for the people that we care about. We should be on the side of people who actually follow the constitution, and we don't think that we should infringe the rights of married couple, of men and women who have been in this patrimony for a long time. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, the second question on social issues. Please, Mr. Sieps.
I'd like to ask a question about education. In many countries around the world, higher education, universities and graduate school, is free. It is free of charge. In the United States, higher education can be very, very expensive. We in the United States think of ourselves as the land of opportunity. So I have sort of a two-part question. First, do you think that the government has a role to ensure access to higher education for all Americans? Do you think that the government has a role there? And second, what would you do to ensure that all Americans have access to the best universities and graduate schools?
Thank you, Ambassador. Please, Mitt Romney's team.
Thank you for the question. When it comes to higher education, yes, we believe that it is extremely important and that people should be entitled to it. But there is a reason why it is expensive, and it is due to regulations. We want to change the regulations, but we cannot, of course, make higher education completely free. And when it comes to overall education, of course, we want people to be educated, to have the best possible that is offered to them, and we believe that the changes in education have to come from the very bottom beginning rather than just change the higher educational system. When it comes to different fees of higher education, then we believe that still our local people should be entitled to a bit of different tuition fees when it comes to the immigrants. And also one of the problems that we actually saw and we were discussing beforehand as well when it comes to migration, then we believe that we should stop the process where we see that migrating students are having the same tuition fee rates as our local students, because we believe that higher education is something that is strongly connected to our identity and something that brings us forward. So if we make it cheaper, if we make it cheaper or completely free, then we also actually have the risk of lowering the standards of higher education. This is something that we cannot permit for ourselves. What we want to make is a scoreboard, basically, where people can, for example, vote for different universities, and students can choose what kind of universities they want to go to. But we don't see an actual good idea in making higher education free. No matter how much we would like to have it, we cannot afford it very well, and we do see more harms than benefits in it. So therefore, vote Romney.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 1 minute rebuttal and your statement.
So Democratic Party has always believed that with the role of the government is to ensure that each and every person, regardless of the social class they come from and their family status, is eligible to have access to the education that he or she wants to. And as we see it, that what side Romney proposes is to ensure that there will always be this group of worst off kids who will never have the chance to access higher education, despite how talented they are, because they simply don't have enough money. And that's why to believe that all our citizens, despite how rich or poor they are treated equally in the field of education, we believe that the government should take actions to make the higher education accessible for all people equally. That is our position.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And for 1 minute. Yes, Mitt Romney's 1 minute.
We are very glad that the opposing team believes that we should have free higher education. It would be a perfect thing to do, but we can't just allow it. And as we also heard, we heard absolutely no ideas, no plans, even no kind of justification why they don't even come up with this idea. They just say, well, it would be nice. No plan whatsoever, no kind of example. So they have already lost this point. When it comes to also actually the view of our political party, then we do believe that, yes, everybody should have equal chances, and we try to do it already from the very beginning, and we do offer different kinds of scholarships. We try to give bonuses for those good students who might come from worse-off families. But what we see is always that people should be responsible for what they do, and we believe that actually having higher education with a tuition fee also actually creates some sort of incentive. We can make sure that people want to learn what they are going to learn, and we believe that actually it is extremely important for a person to have individual responsibility in every part of their life. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Our time is slowly running out, so I will switch to the question from the audience. Excuse me. Experts, the question on social issues from the audience, please. Take your chance. It's practically live Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, so take your chance. Yep. Yes, please, bring the mic.
Yeah, I would like to ask you, where exactly do you stand on abortion? Because Mitt Romney, at the beginning, he said that he's pro-life all the way. Abortion is fully no. Then he said, yes, well, in cases of rape, incest, and in cases for the health of the mother and the child. And please be specific. Where exactly do you stand on abortion? Thank you.
Thank you. Abortion question. The differences, please.
Thank you for the question. We believe that abortion is an extremely important part of our society. So yes, indeed, we are pro-life and we believe that abortion is wrong, but we do believe that when it comes to rape, incest, and if the pregnancy is harmful for the mother itself and she might die, then we believe we are justified to end this life. Because, well, rape is already involuntary and incest, we believe, is already illegal, and we do not want those women to we don't want those women to have any kind of different harms. But when it comes to abortion, then we believe that this small child who is in this belly growing up, we believe that they are also actually real humans, and they do feel pain, as it has already been proven as well. So what we see is that they are the smallest and the most fragile and unprotected part of our society, and we believe that they also have a right to life. So we believe that abortion in this case is wrong for a mother to kill this child, especially as if we have almost 10% of women in the United States infertile, and we know that there is so many people who would want to adopt those children. So we believe that it is always better to give a chance for those children to live and have a full life than just to end this pregnancy in an early step when it comes to abortion. Even further, we want to seek, for example, protection for younger girls when exploiting all kinds of different abortion topics. And of course, we do applaud for the idea of stem cells research, but we do not believe that we are justified in any kind of case to actually eliminate a young beginning life that might have so many potentials in its life. And we believe that the mother, when she gets pregnant, then she has already made a sort of informed decision, and she has the opportunity to actually not get pregnant. So in this case, we believe that this one small fragile life is always more important than the wish of a mother. And we're very happy to keep this child alive. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, 1 minute rebuttal and your 2-minute statement.
Okay, first, Team Romney was very eloquent and smart on not mentioning that the party that Mitt Romney represents has pledged to keep open religiously based clinics that deny abortion, although the legislation legislation tells that it should be able in all regions and in all states of the U.S. Secondly, also that the Republican Party has pledged to not to support the Planned Parenthood centers that provide healthy and clean and safe abortion for young women who really need those. And also, I would like really to hear about those scientific researches which show that an embryo that has absolutely no nervous system yet developed can feel pain, and how that could be proven. And what's more, this sentence about there always being a consent in case of pregnancy, well, that is of course completely not the case. We do not even need to think about the things like incest and rape. Also, there are cases when contraception simply doesn't work. Also, there are cases when the young people are simply too uneducated to understand the consequences, and that is already the purpose of the education as we recognize it. But so, as to the side Obama, we believe that it is the basic right of a woman to have to be able to choose what to do with the body, and that right is called the right to the body integrity. So until the week 12 after that pregnancy has taken place, we believe that the right of the woman for the choice what to do, whether to keep this child or whether to have an abortion, is to be ranked superior to the right of the infant, which we cannot count as a moral subject because it has no consciousness yet, because it has no developed nervous system. But also we understand that a great part of our society has specific religious beliefs, and they believe that the ensoulment of fetus happens already at the beginning of the pregnancy, and we see that debating about whether the fetus can or cannot be a moral subject is quite fruitless often. But what we do think is one thing that even both non-religious and religious people can agree on, that despite if we approve to or condemn abortion, nevertheless, what is our attitude to it? There will always be young women who want to do abortion, even if we call it completely grave sin and dislegalize it. There will always be women who will have this need and who will struggle to do it. And if the abortion is not legal, that simply means that these women will do it in some unhealthy, unmedical, bad, dirty conditions, and that of course can badly affect their health and even life. So I think this is what both sides can agree upon. There will always be women who want to do abortion, and so we believe that it's better to save their health and even their lives, and keep and make this and give them the chance to do it in a good conditions, rather than do it in somewhere illegally, which can have really bad effect and bad consequences. And as it has been shown in countries which have actually made abortion illegal, it only increases the count of abortions exercised illegally, and that we believe is a bad thing. Yes, and therefore we are completely pro-choice on our side.
Okay, thank you. And the last answer, the mic was occupied. Please, your 1 minute rebuttal.
Thank you. Even though the opposing team came up with some quite interesting ideas, then yet still we believe that a right to life, an actual life, is more important than body integrity, especially if, yes, contraception might fail once in a while, but we say that still already those people might make an informed decision. And when it comes to those, well, sometimes you might be raped. We already said that if you are raped or if this is incest, you are allowed to have abortion, so we don't so we don't see this point anymore standing. What we also hear is that, well, those women who then might want to have an abortion might be in bad conditions, and it might be even harmful for their own health. What we say exactly in this case is that it is much better for those women not to have an abortion and to keep the child, because the life is much more valuable, and especially if going to some uncertain clinic might harm their health. So we don't see how the freedom of abortion is even comparable to an actual human being, to an actual life, and something as valuable and as miracle. So therefore, we still believe that that the child is much more important than a mother who might have made a bit wrong decision at some point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before the final conclusions and concluding remarks from the side of experts, you have a chance to do the closing statement. So closing statement, at the beginning, the Mitt Romney's team. Closing statement. Two minutes.
All right. Well, what we do believe in is not meddling with things that we shouldn't meddle in. And those things are actually economics. In some sense, we apply them into domestic economy in order to stimulate and to provide welfare for our citizens. But we don't believe in these trade agreements that come from these states that generally we have bad relations with, and we cannot actually normalize them through diplomatic process as presented by the Obama side. We are about ideals. We are about our values and what we believe in, and about exporting our ideals. The main part we would like to emphasize according to our foreign policy is about exporting the ideals of free trade, human rights, and democracy to the countries which have problems with this. And this is not by standing by and watching them suffer. The idea is that America has a grievous and great leverage and power in many theaters of the world. For instance, Africa, where the Obama administration did not act when it was actually in a position to exert its diplomatic power in order to avert the genocide in Khartoum, in the Sudan, when Sudan split. In these cases, the United States has a certain role in the world with its political and economic power, and we believe that role could be coincided perfectly with what our government believes is better for our own citizens, and what we believe is better for other countries, namely the values we believe in human rights, in prosperity, in democracy. We would say that they are threats. They are threats that we must counter, and we must not counter them through this open dialogue that has no preconditions to it. We are saying that you said these things about cooperation with Russia, but I mean, you're saying that we believe in democracy and that's why we must cooperate. But we're saying that it's not exactly that simple, because while you're shaking their hand, you know at the back of your head that they're exporting weapons to Syria, which are being used to kill civilians. So politics is never simple. What we are merely proposing is a more direct and a more hostile approach to these questions, a more tough approach to these questions, which we believe will bring bigger benefits than it will bring losses. Regarding to economics, we would like to emphasize again that our tax cuts will not increase the deficit, because these tax cuts will stimulate the economy, which will stimulate aggregate demand, which will make the economy grow. In addition to this, we will emphasize more our free trade ideals already in the domestic economy, and in this sense also reduce regulations, which will also improve the domestic situation economically. But when it comes to social issues, such as this marriage, whether it is marriage or whether it is abortion, we do believe that our values must come first, and the values chosen by the society are the values which are still staying in the Constitution. And if their values should be changed, there should first be a amendment to the Constitution, or some kind of a great movement towards this, and people should express this opinion, and this should be the majority of the people, because the Constitution is something that does transcend time, and the Constitution is not sacred,
Your time,
but
3
it's
minutes.
an important part. And so we believe that to export our values of democracy, human rights, and economic prosperity, we must not go with the weak approach in diplomacy, social issues, and economics. We must go with the tougher approach, still believing in free trade and in human rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Like final fight, please, your concluding remarks. Barack Obama team. 2 minutes.
We believe that rhetorics of United States having some kind of special role and superiority to other countries is old. that is something that should be left in the Cold War age. Yes, we understand our power and our opportunities, but on the other hand, we recognize the integrity of other states that exist out there, and we believe that we should interfere in the matters of other states only when there really is no other option. And we believe in democracy not only within our country but also around the globe and between the states, where United States is not in some way superior but an equal player to others. And so when Mr. Obama took the Oval Office 4 years ago, he found himself on the top of the state that was in one of the worst situations ever in its history, partly due to Mr. George Bush, and mostly because of the devastating financial crisis the country was facing, and also because of this lost reputation in the international area, mainly because of some outrageous actions in the Middle East. And it would take a wizard to get all these things right in 4 years. Mr. Obama is no wizard, but still he has already managed to do a lot of things. And I can only repeat them. That is his movement towards the green energy and alternative energy. That is the energy of the future, and that the Republicans completely don't care about. That is his equality and egalitarian approach to taxes and to education that are both really important for prosperous middle class that defines the American society. That are his diplomatic actions in the Middle East, taking all our troops away from Iraq.
Your time.
Already.
2 minutes.
Seriously. Also, I will only name them Obamacare, which unfortunately was not mentioned, and also the rights of the women, which will not be impeached if Obama is re-elected. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. The debates are over, and please, concluding remarks, short one, really, from the experts, your views, how it was, and your remarks. Please, starting from Ivars, I believe. Thank you.
It's off. Oh, no. I just wanted to say that I enjoyed that very much, and I think that both teams were, in my opinion, equally good prepared. And in my opinion, I'm abstaining in my decision whether one or the other was better. But of course, this debating culture in Latvia is rather new. But at the same time, I think that let's say, as for truthfulness and let's say authenticity of this debate, of course, your positions in those questions like China or abortions, they were, of course, much too extreme for real Obama or for real Romney, because they were, let's say, too extreme and too thoroughgoing. But at the same time, I think this was really good, and I wish you good luck. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Lolita, please.
Yes, I would like to thank you. Really thank you for this very great experience. I really enjoyed your performance. I think you did extremely well. And you were very well prepared. And when it comes to competence that you displayed, I really think you should take a very good credit for the fact that you've prepared well. You've studied the different stances of both candidates. You actually referred to previous interviews, to the previous debates. So it really convinced me that you have been following the fascinating process that is going on in the US politics at the moment. So the competence was remarkable. Of course, in debates like these, one very important question is how well you identified with the particular stances. And I think it was very interesting to see that that students from the Stockholm School of Economics got Romney's position, because you, in my opinion, were much stronger on business. You argued convincingly and you did it very well. Whereas I think that students from the Latvian University did better on social issues. And again, because you very well identified with the issues, you argued Obama's position on this very well. If it had been vice versa, so where the Latvian university students would have had to argue the business side, and respectively Stockholm School of Economics would have had to argue more Obama's position, it would have been very interesting how you would have done that. So I think this was very interesting how it had fallen that you argued those sides. I think that if I have to call a winner, it's very hard. On foreign policy, I think you were equal. On economics, as I said, I think Stockholm School of Economics students did better. On social issues, Obama's side did better. But if we are looking at the whole debate, how it went on its own right, I would still say that Romney's side, in my opinion, won because you had a more difficult job. You are in an audience which obviously are more tacitly with your opponent. And I think you did very well because you were feisty, you were rigorous, you fought. And it's not so easy to identify with that position that you took. So I congratulate you on that. And at the same time, I think that the Obama side did very, very well. I liked your argumentation. I think you were very strong. And finally, I think you displayed a very good teamwork. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you. I share the view of the first two commentators. It was really an excellent debate. It was fun to watch, and I was really, really impressed. I was impressed by three things. I was impressed, first of all, by, in every single case, your eloquence. The way you took a very complicated question and had 2 minutes or 1 minute to answer it, and then delivered an eloquent, thorough, complete answer was really something. I was impressed by your eloquence. Second, as the first two people mentioned, I was very impressed by your command of the issues. Not just your command of the specific elements of all of these complex questions, whether you talk about China or taxes or abortion or same-sex marriages. It's hard enough to master the basic question of the issue, but to master the position of the two candidates, that's very hard. And I think you got it very close. I think you represented it quite clearly, and so your mastery of the issues was really impressive. Third, your passion. There was real passion on the stage. And if you're not actually supporters of Mitt Romney's positions, you impersonate supporters very, very well. The passion was really striking. There's an expression in American politics that voters are looking for in their candidates what we call fire in the belly. And that means, if you have fire in the belly, that means you are committed to the job. You need to demonstrate to the American voter that you want this job. No American voter will vote for somebody who isn't passionate about the job, who doesn't demonstrate a 24-hour commitment to it, and doesn't have fire in the belly. You had fire in the belly. I would only caution one or two of you that while it's important to demonstrate passion, you don't want to scare people too much. Because you are, after all, not just reaching for debating points and trying to prove wrong your opponent. You're trying to attract people to vote for you. And speaking of votes, I think I'll abstain too. I'll tell you, our election is November 6th. I'll tell you my choice on, our election is November 6th. I'll tell you my choice on November 7th. And so that I won't be recorded one way or the other with video cameras demonstrating a preference that is somewhat fictional based on this debate. It was terrific. I really, really enjoyed it, and I congratulate you very much for all your hard work and for demonstrating it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, and our mass media representatives, please.
I will be short. And by my opinion, Republicans were stronger on economic issues and Democrats on foreign policy issues, and both sides went on, it was a tie on social things. But anyway, I think Republicans won because every debate, it's a show, first of all. And what I saw today, it's 6 young politicians ready to start presidential campaign in every country of the world. Excellent. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to mention that both sides on the stage were in very good positions, and I was very excited about the information that flow for both sides, because I feel that they have made a good preparations. They have studied the programs. They have about those beliefs on abortions, for instance, on Republicans' beliefs of Democrats, and so on. If somebody asks whom I will give the prize for the best for the debate, let me just split it. I will say so that in economics there were Republicans were better, and they were very excited about it, and I could feel some Romney speech about we must create jobs, we must let the businesses go, as Romney said. In social issues, yes, there were, I think, vice versa, and or they were tied, because the Republicans were mostly their argumentation were based on the beliefs, on the Constitution, and on some ethical issues, but Democrats were more oriented on the current situation and about how it looks nowadays. It was more about argumentation and some common sense. And in foreign affairs, I see that there was more Democrats influence. Democrats were more stronger. And let me just sum up. In the last sum-up speeches from Romney's side, I really was thrilled about this Romney style of we must foster human rights, we must foster democracy, we must spread those ideas to the world. On Obama's side, yes, there was also good. We must not to intervene on other sides. We must take action only where there is problems. And I think I will give. If somebody asks, I will give for Obama one. I think I will give 2 points. And for Romney 1 point. And it was really exciting to hear about this. And guys, you were really good prepared, because I listened to you, and I just fixed those issues which I have learned in the United States, and learned following the debates and so on. You were really good prepared. Thank you for the show.
Well, thank you very much. Our debate is over. Thank you very much for 2 debate clubs, Latvijas University Debate Club, Natālija Kimova, Helmuts Caune, and Jurijs Baltač. Warm applause for them. That was a good job. And representatives of Mitt Romney, Stockholm School of Economics Debate Club, Jēkabs Jurčs, Susanna Paivali, and Edgars Marcinkus. Applause. And of course, thank you to all people behind the scenes, the US Embassy employees, and thank you, Ambassador, thank you, Latvia University, and follow the politics, because that influences all of us. Thank you very much, and have a nice time.